Well, playing this game has severely broken my sleep schedule, so I'm giving Mario a bit of a rest. Rest is over! Okay. That was a bit more energetic than I was expecting it to be, but... yeah, I just woke up not so long ago. I mean, it's been a little while now, but... it is currently... midnight 30. Yes, that's how I'm gonna say it. I don't know why, but that's what time it is. I hope that nobody minds if this is a bit of a catch-up episode, particularly tomato ketchup, because I'm just going to be going back to a few secret secrets to get some of the red coin missions in those. It just seems like the right thing to do. And you know, Do the Right Thing is a movie that exists that I have never seen, but it's been referenced in my sight, sound, and motion class a number of times for innovating in various ways. So maybe someday I will see it, because I like to be exposed to what seems like things that I should be exposed to. That was a statement. So, I thought of another Super Mario Sunshine related story to tell, which is... I apparently have a lot of those. I didn't even realize that I had more than I did before, but... well, not more than I did before, just... I thought that I'd run out of them, and it turns out that I haven't. Yeah. Another Super Mario Sunshine related story. It's not really much of a story for the most part, but... I remember having this realization around the time of the beginning of the GameCube's lifespan that Mario and Luigi never really had any extra mechanics to their platforming. They were just Mario and Luigi purely platforming by their own merits. And then all of a sudden with the GameCube, I mean, this doesn't really apply to platforming with Luigi's Mansion, but all of a sudden everything changed, because with Luigi's Mansion, he has the Poltergeist. With Mario Sunshine, Mario has the Flood. And it's like suddenly they're not just plumbers anymore, they're also plumbers with backpack devices. That was the hip new trend that Nintendo was setting. So, I remember being sort of in awe of this fact, I guess, and thinking that these new gadgets were pretty cool, and I wanted to sort of make my own for one of the... well, I've mentioned it before, but I used to make player's guides for games that didn't exist, because as a child that was the closest thing to actually making a game that I could manage. And what I would do is... well, I had this series called French Fries, which really was not a very consistent series. It went all over the place, kind of like Sonic does. Like the Sonic franchise, but I guess Sonic himself, too. That kind of applies to both statements. As Mario shows his shine to nothing. Hold on a moment. My nose is a sponge. A sponge for disaster. My nose is a sponge for disaster. Jonathan 2017. Yeah, I wanted to give my own characters this, or at least my own French fry character, who was just a French fry with stick arms and legs. I wanted to give him this special backpack item just like those characters. But the thing is, I didn't just base it on the Poltergeist and the Flood. Those were heavy influences. But I also based it on a different video game, which was the Grinch video game for PlayStation. I think it was for PlayStation, unless it was Dreamcast, I can't remember. One of those two. If anyone has played that game, you probably haven't. But, I just recall... the story of that game was something like, well, the Grinch is trying to stop Christmas, as he does in all of his media. In this particular case, he had a lot of machinery at his disposal on Mount Crumpet. And he had a bunch of blueprints for more machines that he could make. But he loses all his blueprints because they blow away from the mountain and land in various places in, like, Whoville and other places nearby, and so he has to go down and get them in a sort of a collectathon. Which I think is actually kind of clever, and then you go get the blueprints, and then you make the machines. And one of the machines that you make is basically this device that you put on your back that serves as a helicopter, basically, like a helicopter-y, funny helicopter-y tail thing. Now that makes me hover. Yeah. I remember liking the design of it. Just a red box with this green orb in the back with a swirly thing on it. I don't really know. I liked the colors. It was Christmas colors, how appropriate. And what am I doing here? Oh, I missed this blue coin. How could I miss this? I guess it was kind of on the back of a building, so it was not the most obvious thing in the world, but I just never came back here, I guess. Yeah, I combined the helicopter-y tail thing with the design of whatever the machine is called in the Grinch, and I also had the same backpack machine have flood-type features where you can spray and... I didn't just have it spray, though. I also had it spray water, fire, and ice, because that's the stuff that you use in with the Poltergeist 3000. Is it 3000 or 2000? One of those. In Luigi's Mansion. It's the random elemental vacuum. It doesn't really make much sense in that game, but I don't care. It's cool. I like element-based puzzles, so I enjoyed combining those three randomly similar-ish concepts into one being, except it's not a being. I just noticed that the mole kind of had... Is it a mole or a beaver? I don't know. Looked kind of like it had a Luigi hat. Do 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 do. It is really bizarre how many memories that I've had with Super Mario Sunshine. And, another thing that I probably should talk about is the next collectathon Mario game that will be coming out soon, fairly soon, which would be Mario Odyssey. People have wondered what my thoughts are on that game, which I can't exactly express my entire thoughts since I've never played it and nobody has, but the essence of my thoughts based on the footage that I've seen, and the trailers and whatnot, is just... It does look fun, but it doesn't look quite the same as Mario 64 or Sunshine. It looks a little bit more gimmicky to me. And you would call the Flood a gimmick. I would not call it a gimmick because the entire game revolves around the ability to have this flood, and it's basically an extension of your controls. So, my logic here is Mario 64 is pure platforming. The main thing that makes that game unique is these caps that you put on sometimes with to turn into metal or to to fly or vanish, turn invisible, go through things. And that's all well and good. In Super Mario Sunshine, you have the Flood, which, like I said, is an extension of your controls. You use it everywhere. It doesn't require any specific context. It's useful everywhere that you go. And then you have Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2, which aren't really in the same vein in terms of collectathon platformers, because they're much more linear, but they still have the spinny move, which is, again, another extension of Mario's moves. He doesn't need to have any specific context to use these things. And it's just part of the platforming, which I think is nice. But Mario Odyssey seems to have a much heavier focus on taking the capture mechanic with Cappy, which the capture mechanic is a good name. It seems like instead of it being an extension of Mario's controls, it seems more like very context-sensitive limitations to Mario's controls, is the way I would put it. Like, if Mario, for example, I'm gonna say, with a Goomba, like, if Mario uses his cap to possess a Goomba, then what does that do? It doesn't add anything to Mario's controls that he naturally uses to platform everywhere. It's just, he turns into a Goomba and has much more limited controls for a little bit. Which doesn't seem really as exciting to me. So, I expect it to be almost more of a puzzle game than a true platformer, or a true collectathon. And it also looks a little bit more open world to me, kind of like Breath of the Wild. Not in the same open world sense as this game, where the levels are fairly small and, like, most of the exploration that you get out of them is, I don't know, experiencing more of their personality, I suppose, instead of just having a big landscape with not a whole lot in it, which seems to be more what Mario Odyssey is going for, so I'm not totally sure yet how I feel. Maybe with more footage I will have more of an opinion, just... Again, I think it looks fun, I just don't think it looks like quite the same fun. But we will see. I would be happy to be wrong. This level's a little bit weird, because you have that whole big Yoshi block section, which is the majority of the stage, and then you have 6 of the 8 red coins stuck at the end here, just shoved in. Like, oh crap, we forgot to put all of the red coins in this level. Okay, here's one, here's another. Oh shoot, we ran out of places to put them. Okay, just put all of them here. And that's what they did. That's probably not how it happened, but... You know, if you're scouring every inch of the level with those Yoshi blocks, it certainly takes a lot longer to... What am I saying? It's easy to waste a lot of your time on those Yoshi blocks if you don't know that all the coins are at the end. So that kinda can throw you off. Yip yap zippity doo. That is all I really had to say about that. Mario's all proud of himself for getting yet another shine that wasn't particularly difficult to get. I don't fully understand Mario as a character. He is... I can understand optimism, but he loves adventuring so much that he doesn't even mind if Princess Peach gets kidnapped, because it just means he gets to go on another adventure. He's like totally unfazed by this. Hey, I'm gonna have a jolly old time. I'm not in danger. This is just another thing that I get to do. And I'm gonna get a kiss at the end. It's great. Mario should really feel some danger. Okay, so here's an interesting way to enter a new stage. Okay, well, I'm just gonna blind myself by the sun. Oh, that's the next stage. And then all of a sudden, we appear on the sun, on the corona of the sun, and we just burn to death. No, this is Noki Bay. Which is a freaking beautiful stage. I love the way this place looks, especially when it's all purple. The way that you enter the stage, I'm sure, is a callback to the Wing Cap stage in Mario 64.
Welcome, Master Mario, I presume. We have heard much about you, yes, and all of it good.
From the creators of Castle Crashers, I've heard mixed reviews, mostly good.
I'm watching this cutscene even though I don't have to, because it kind of establishes what's going on here, and this is one of the more story-centric levels. Yeah, the water is polluted, because any time that you see purple liquid in a Mario game, it's poison. Although one of the nice things about it is anytime you see the water in a slightly bluer tint like this, it's okay, it's safe. But go into the purple and you get hurt. So I'm kind of glad that the outer edges of the water are not polluted. It makes it a little bit easier to move around. Oh yeah, what I should do is do this the proper way, because it's not something that I ever really thought to do. You fill up the pot, and it's a scale that brings you upwards. I don't know, I kind of like it, even though I never use it. I also like this area, for this particular mission, because what you're supposed to do is spray these, the graffiti on the walls here, because it's covering up entire continents. No, not continents, just pieces of the Earth. And, like, that's what you're supposed to use to get up here, and I just don't. Because I'm a rebel.
Where's the rebel base? Talk!
Sid, your Pop-Tarts are ready.
Love that stupid, stupid part. I don't understand why it's there, but I'm glad that it is. Every time I would watch that scene in Toy Story, I would become suddenly... Okay, I'm not gonna spray the octopus. You're not gonna make me. That skull octopus. It's kinda creepy looking. I would always become really craving Pop-Tarts. And I hope that everyone felt the same way. I'm not sure if it's, like, subliminal, except not that subliminal advertising, or if it's... I don't know. Wait, whoops. I didn't have my hover nozzle out. My hover schnoz out. Yeah, that is one thing that I can say about this game's controls, is that even though I think that they're super satisfying the vast majority of the time, it can be easy to forget whether you have the hover nozzle or the regular nozzle out. And that's about it. My other save file on this memory card for this game is an 85 shine memory card, which is coinless, because I watched Big Tip on a Bus's coinless Mario Sunshine LP. Team Rocket is blasting off again, by the way. I watched that, and I thought, you know, it would be fun to try what he did, getting as few coins as possible, and by that I mean getting no coins for the majority of the game, which is a fair challenge. It's, for the most part, easier than you might think, but then certain missions make it a lot more difficult. But I had fun with my playthrough. I didn't feel like going through all the trouble to get the red coin fish shine, because that one is practically impossible, and I'm amazed that he got it on his playthrough. But yeah, it's a fun challenge for anyone who wants to try it. Okay, I think what I want to do is get one of the plaza shines here at the end of the restaurant at the end of the universe. Okay. You can break this open with the turbo nozzle, and the level inside is designed around the turbo nozzle, but you can also use other nozzles if you break it quickly and then stop. But I'm just going to use the turbo nozzle because I think it's the most fun anyways. It's just interesting because you can go through all of this with the hover nozzle or rocket nozzle, and it doesn't really matter. You can... It's perfectly valid to do it any of those ways. Which is really cool. Like, the level is possible with all of them. Which, I guess you could say kind of goes to show that the turbo nozzle is a little bit useless. You only really use it to break open doors. But, whatever, it's still cool. You can't take away my appreciation for it. Mario squints again. I think it's weird how Mario squints hardcore every time he gets a shine. Maybe not every time, but a lot of the times that he gets a shine. Maybe it's just too bright, because he's holding the sun in his hands. He doesn't have the whole world in his hands, it's just the sun. Just the sun. It's not a big deal. Something that is a million billion times bigger than the Earth. I don't actually remember anymore how big it is compared to the Earth. I want to say it fits a billion Earths. Earths? Do I want to get another... You know what? I'm gonna get another Plaza Shine. I'm in the mood. I can't even remember what this one is over here. But we're gonna find out. It's not the hardest one to find. Just kind of on a pipe over here. You know what, actually, just for a moment. This series of pillars reminds me of the Great Bay area and Majora's Mask. I can't explain why. I don't know what part of it specifically, but it reminds me of that. Like the area leading up to one of the... What? I already went here. Penis. Alright, as punishment for my stupidity, I'm going to get this blue coin. This lady wants some durians. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation of that fruit. I just know that they look nothing like they do in this game, because I'm pretty sure they're sort of a green color, and they're not humongous, and they have stems. But no, these are the durians, and yeah, you can't pick them up. They are basically soccer balls that... I don't know. I actually kind of like how these control. They're not always perfect, but getting these across this gap and making them all the way to the lady's basket is that... It's probably some kind of sexual term that I shouldn't be using. Lady's basket. I have no idea, though. I have a dirty mind. Never mind. I enjoy getting these to their designated location. A lot of people seem to have a lot of trouble with that, and I think I used to, and now I don't so much. Woohoo! All I really know about durians is that apparently they taste good but smell awful. And I hope to never find out exactly what they smell like. But I am admittedly also kind of curious. How could it be that... well... I guess it's a matter of... I know that smell has a pretty huge influence on the way that things taste. My dad has no sense of smell, so he doesn't have the same sense of taste that everyone else does. And lots of things that he considers really tasty are things that I think are kind of subpar, because a lot of his taste has been... You know, I already... yeah. I'm picturing, how could something that smells absolutely awful have a great taste? That's what I'm curious about. If it's really that awful smelling, then that would completely overwhelm the whatever it would taste like. But maybe it's just one of those things you have to experience firsthand. Right, durian kick? Durian? Durian sounds like it'd be a good name for someone. I know that Darien is a name, but durian? Come on, who wouldn't want to be named after a stinky fruit? Thanks, sweetums. You are most welcome, and with that, the world has been saved. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.